How's it going, everyone? We're here to check out the top skins that were submitted for this week, and we're back with a full video, and the next 2 weeks are going to be Halloween submissions. So make sure that your contest submissions are in before the 7th, which is the due date, the 7th at midnight Pacific Standard Time, or Mountain Time, that's the same right now. Anyways, that is that. So we'll be with those soon. The first week is going to be contest judged by the Face Punch devs, and then the second week will be Hulk's pick. So there we have that. Starting off with our top 10, we've got ourselves the rifled burlap pants and shirt, or shirt and trousers, and it just has this very new shiny leather look to it. Then you've got kind of like a wire mesh kind of protection thing going on, which looks really cool. And I just love how different this burlap set is from a lot of different ones, a lot of other ones out there, and I think people would like how different this one is. There we go. Then next, in addition to that, would be the black diamond hoodie and pants, but they're already in the store right now. So Hulk chose them and put them in last week, and they're in the store right now. You can get them until Thursday. Next up are the tank armor, gloves, and boots. And, we saw some pieces of this, and a lot of people really like the rusty stuff. They're buying into it. There was a lot of colorful kind of stuff for a while, and seeing all the kind of stuff that fits into the game that's more millispec or actually literally rusty seems to be selling quite well. So completing this clothing set would just really make some sense. For deployables this week, the only thing I have to really show you in my top 10 is going to be the Firefly's garage door, because the porcelain sheet metal door was on this list and is in the shop already, and so is the Forest Raiders locker. So there is that. So the only one we had this week for you is going to be the Firefly's garage door, and this is the transparent version. As you can see, there are little holes here and there that you can see through. It has a really nice design, and it has the kind of cut out bottom, which looks quite nice as well. And then we can see the glow. It does look like there isn't any glow on the roller. It is just the lightning bugs or fireflies, but it is definitely a very good door. Alright, and then for weapons and tools, we just have some weapons for you this week, and the first one's going to be the Frontier crossbow. And this is meant to look like the rest of the Frontier set. I think they did a really good job with it, and that is why this made the top 10. They got the same leather, and it's got the same kind of worn wood and rusty pieces just kind of going on. Same color scheme. They just did a very good job. They even added their own little like poker chip emblem right there where the thumb is. So definitely very well done. Then we've got ourselves the Dark Imperial MP5, and this one just has a really cool look. It has this kind of brushed steel with a very kind of more mustard yellow kind of gold, and it just has a very clean, nice look. It's been sculpted so well. They reworked a lot of the actual MP5. It has metal for the grips and so forth, instead of there being wood in the stock, and instead of there being a wood grip. And then aiming down the sights here, you do have nice little red dots, which I think is quite a nice feature. They definitely did a very nice sculpting job on this. And finally, our last item is actually the Shining Edge AK, which is also in the shop right now. So it looks like Hulk really liked this week's top 10 so much that he put in like a bunch of it last week. So hey, that stuff is available. Let's go take a look at the rest of the awesome skins that have been submitted. Alright, for all the other skins, starting off, we've got a burlap head wrap for you, and it is the Ape head wrap version 2. And man, they just did a really good job with it. It really does look like one of those chimpanzee masks that you can get in a store for Halloween. But they did add some more things to it. It now has a nice little necklace going along and some face paint to make him look a little more like maybe a tribal Neanderthal kind of thing. I don't know, one way or another, they did a really good job with this, and it's definitely fun. Next, we have another burlap set for you, and this was definitely hard to choose between the two different burlap sets. It's just we kind of have a few more medieval ones that look like this, and this one is a little bit armored, but I mean, we have some pretty armored looking burlap, so who knows, it could still have a chance, and it's just really beautifully done, and a lot of people like the medieval kind of look, and that kind of leather just fits with burlap. Next, we have another tinfoil hat attempt. This time it is a cut boonie hat. And I mean, it pretty much is what it is. It's a tinfoil hat. I mean, people love that kind of stuff. It's silly, it's dumb, and it fits that side of Rust. Next, we have the Guardian hoodie and pants, and this is just craziness. It's so busy. There's so much going on. There's like dragon scales, and then there's like lizard pebbling kind of looks to it. Then there's the chains and the different colors of the you know, kind of aqua blue and gold against that black. I think it just looks really good, and I think people would be really interested in this one for sure. Next, we do have some basketball shoes for you. They're simply just called the basket work boots, and yeah, as you can see, they have like little rust symbols on the ends of them, kind of like you would expect with some sports shoes, and they just have a nice bright color. Moving along, we don't have any road sign for you, but we can go straight to our high qual sets. First one here is going to be the polar bear set. I definitely love the face, the bushy eyebrows, and the overbite, and it kind of looks like a metallic bear, and I think they did just a really good job with it. And I think these plates too right here are supposed to be kind of like ears, but see, they're not really on either side. I wish they kind of done maybe some bear ears on the side, and I think that really would have completed the look. But besides that, I think this thing is just really clever. Last but not least, we have one more high qual set, the Steel Bone Warrior by Chemo Legend, and this just looks crazy. You've got some wood paneling, and then the steel bone chest piece kind of thing that almost also looks reminiscent of an engine block. And then you've got this creepy, smiling, robotic face. Very creepy. Definitely something that fits Rust. All right, moving on to our deployables, we've got some bags for you. The first one's going to be the Survivor bag, and it looks like it is a human organ transplant theme going along here. You got the zippers of what looks like a, you know, insulated body bag, and then some some surgery tools and gloves, and looks like some blood. Probably wouldn't trust that one. Then over here we got this crazy design with the King sleeping bag. Definitely very, very cool looking. And then we've got the Sandcastle sleeping bag version 2, and as you look at it, it kind of looks like parts of like a Rust map from above. You can see the outlines of the different buildings and so forth, and then you can see kind of like the tops of the castle. It's one of those things where, you know, the bag doesn't have a super amount of depth, but if you look along the side, you can kind of see it. And I think it's a really good creative idea. It may look a little bit rough, but it is sand, right? Moving on, we've got some small boxes, and this one has beautiful carving to it. It is simply the Forest box by Chris. Love the little sun on top and the nice wood burnings. Then we have a more kind of techie, futuristic looking box here with the Healing Point small box, which of course does glow. Moving along to our large boxes, the Biohazard Containment box by Shedmon. Then we've got ourselves the Prison large wood box, which has these big iron bars all around it. Then we've got another kind of techie looking box with the Transistor version 1. There's also a green version, which you can check out down in the description with the workshop link. Then we've got ourselves some furnaces, or some furni. I know it's furnaces. And the Circus furnace. And I love how the light comes through the seams. I think that's a really cool effect. Looks great at night. Then we got ourselves a little burger furnace. The sesame seeds look like you'd pick them right off there, and the lettuce and cheese looks quite nice and fresh. Then, if we take a look, we've got a continuation of the Frozen Crypt set with the furnace. This is definitely in the runner-ups for this week. I did have the Twisted Metal furnace in the top ones there, and it looks like this one just didn't make it against there. But I think, man, for this week, I would say this one is a top one for sure. Moving along, we've got a very hot one with the Wire furnace, which just looks like twisted copper wire that is superheating. And lastly, we've got another attempt at 3D printing with Mick Donnie's 3D printed furnace. Moving on, we've got doors, and our first door here is going to be the Afterlife wooden door. And it has this little skull with some snakes and flowers, and then some more flowers on the back. Moving along to sheet metal, we have a Red Heart portal going on for you here. I'm just calling it a portal. It's simply just the Red Heart sheet metal door. And then we've got this beautiful bird, and it is the Bluebird sheet metal door by Noe. But there's also a kind of phoenixy looking version called the Firebird, which you can also see in that list. Moving on to our double doors, we've got ourselves the Junkyard sheet metal door by Ghosty. It has a little bit of neon and fluorescent glow. Then moving on, we've got some art with a dog with the Angry Dog double door, complete with drool. Then we've got some inspiration from the Rust World with the water treatment double door. Moving on, we've got one last double door for you with the Metal Quarry double sheet metal door. Definitely looks very mining-ish. I love the detail to that. Moving on to our garage doors. Our first one here is going to be the stone garage door, which is, well, you know, basically a fox stone wall. Definitely quite funny. Moving on, we've got a very future-y looking with the ethereal garage door by GBG. Then we've got a little more kind of artistic tune with the Vision Moon. Comes in the glowing and non-glowing version. Then we've got some marble for you right here with the Paradise Prism garage door. Then we've got, I don't even know what to call it, it's simply the Dude garage door. Dude. Moving along, the green area garage door. We got the sheet metal door in, so this could be a possible for this week, and the glow is actually quite cool. Then over here we have the MLRS Raider garage door, and as you can see, it does have a little transparency down there in the bottom. I mean, you can't really crouch and see through it, but if you're standing down at a lower, portion from it, you can definitely look through, and you can kind of see what's on the floor at least. Then moving along, we have one more garage door for you, the Vault garage door. And last but not least, the Neon Bismuth armor door. So we have seen the double door make its way in, so maybe we'll see the single. So let's kill those lights and take a look through all of the glow. We have our double doors, single sheet metals. This furnace is pretty much just a regular glow. Then as you can see, this one heats up all around. Same thing with this furnace. Then with the burger, it's about just a normal glow. And then there are those lights through the seams. I just really like this one. Very well done. Of course, we have our large boxes. Only one that glows, and then we've got the small meds, which glows as well. Alright, let's jump into those tools and weapons, and here we've got the Dragon Egg Rock for you. We've seen various different dragon eggs, and I think this is another really well sculpted one that looks quite neat. Then we've got the Ammonite Rock, which is a very well done little fossil rock. Then we have the Paper Ball Rock, complete with duct tape. And lastly, the Magnetic Cube Rock. Then we do have Metal Hatchet and Pick for you this week. They have a nice little design carved on them. It is the Iron Dragon set. And there's that matching pick. Next up, we have some swords for you, and this was a serious contender for the top skins because it is just really, really well done. This crystal sword just looks great. The crystal shard sword, to be specific. Then we've got one more for you. I did say there was a couple, and it is the Snake Bite sword. As you can see, there's a snake down there. This one's really cut out, and the snake eyes actually glow as well. Moving on to some crossies. This one was also very hard up against the one that was for the Frontier. I love the sculpting on this. This creature skull just looks really neat, but it just was, the other one went with the theme of the updates that just happened, so that's a big changer there. Sometimes it's just little things of choices like that, but it's definitely very beautifully sculpted and quite a nice crossbow. Then we've got one more crossie for you, and it's the Snakebite version 2. It looks like they really just updated the fabric texture. It looks a lot better, less kind of fuzzy. I think the colors are slightly brighter as well. And there we go for the reload. Moving along, we have a DB for you this week, the Iron Soul Reaper. Definitely has a very metal look to it. including completely with skulls with glowy eyes. I shouldn't say glowy eyes because they don't actually glow, but you get the idea. Then moving on, we have a Pompey for you as well, and it's part of the Pixel Decay set. This is version 2. It looks like they kind of chromed out some of the pieces a little more, and I feel like the color fade has a little more blue to it than it used to. I think the old one had more yellow kind of going on and green, and this is more blue and red. Aiming down the sides here, you do have a nice little red tip to it. And there's that reload. Alright, moving on to our pistols, we've got an Eoka for you. It's simply called the Wreckage Eoka, and it looks like it's made out of old stuff found around a cobalt plant. It does have some kind of hot rod flames kind of going on there in a faded gold, or maybe it was kind of even a kind of yellow color, kind of hard to tell. Aiming down the sights, well, there aren't really any, because it's an Eoka. Then we've got a sap for you, the Noble Sap to be specific. It's got this nice regal purple with these gold highlights and a fancy wooden grip. Definitely a nice color combination. Aiming down the sights here, you do have a blue tip against the purples and golds. Then moving on, so we've got some SMGs, starting off with the Dawn version 1 Thompson? Yes, the version 2 is more green and purple and pink. You can see that down in the description, of course. We always have that link. And when you aim down the sights here, it does have a nice red tip. Then we can move on to some MP5s, and we got quite a few. This one is the Corporal MP5. It does have some bit of transparency, it says, but it's not on the sight. It's actually the stock, as you can see right there. Aiming down the sights, you do have a nice red tip, however. There's that reload. Then we've got the traditional MP5, and it has that traditional American tattoo style. You've got the snake head, the eyeball, and the various different little like bullets, a web, and everything. It just has that traditional tattoo style. Aiming down the sights here, there is kind of a faint gold tip, but depending on how the light hits it, you can't really see it too well. We did see the Python make it in, so who knows, maybe this can become a new set. Then moving on to our next MP5, we've got the hard mode MP5, and this thing just looks like it's gone through hard mode. I mean, looks like it has maybe chalk or watercolor paint on it, and then it has some carvings, and then there's pieces of scrap metal like riveted into it, and like, yeah, it's just all over the place and nice and scrappy. It just fits. Also, you'll notice it does have cut sights as well. Alright, moving on to our last MP5, we've got the Frontier MP5 for you, and there's two versions. One has a modified sight, which you can see here. There's even a little bit of green paint left there on the tip, but the whole thing is made to match up with the Frontier set with the old worn leather and wood and rust, and they just did a really good job with this one. Moving on to our rifles, we've got the Jade Beast SAR. We did see the tools make it in from the set, the hatchet and pickaxe, so maybe the SAR will make it in as well. Aiming down the sights here, you do have a nice little green tip, and if we kill the lights, there is a glow to the eyes. Moving on, we've got to continue in the Dragon Rage set with the semi-automatic rifle. This has been a very popular set, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw this pop up in the shop. Aiming down the sights, you do have a lot of red going on, and that golden dragon judging your aim. Next, we've got another SAR for you. It's the Danger Connection SAR. This just has a really cool military chrome look to it. It's got those insignia, then you've got all the little sectionized chrome pieces, some stars. Aiming down the sights, there's another star, and a nice gold for the back sights versus the chrome tip. Moving on to our next SAR, it is the Speed Rage SAR. We did see the AR, I believe, make its way on in, so hey, maybe we can have a chance with the SAR. As you see, it is stockless. Aiming down the sights here, you do have a nice aqua green tip to go along with it. Then, moving on, we've got some ARs for you this week. The first one here is simply called the Angu AK, and it has just a kind of very esportsy kind of look to it. Definitely love the sculpting. And it has like shiny parts, but it's also not too bright, which I think some people would appreciate. Aiming down the sides, you have black versus blue for the tips. Alright, and our next AR here is also quite rusty. It's the Survivalist AR. As you can see, it's kind of going with that same theme of, you know, the very cobbled together handmade. It just fits. You can even see there's some beads tied around the front. Looks like some old bracelets maybe. And it says No Mercy there. And then you've got a nice bear paw. And then you've got kind of a little bit darker brown to the tip of the sight. Then we've got the Crimson Metal AK for you, which, well, I mean, the name pretty much states it there. It's just got a very kind of metal Victorian kind of feel to it. I think they did a awesome job. Aiming down the sides here, you have a nice red tip against the fancy sculpting. Moving on, we've got another cobbled together AR for you with the recycled Hazmat AR, and this has been a piece, I guess, from a set. I think we only have one piece accepted from it, but we've shown off a couple pieces now, and people seem to like the first one, so I could definitely see this being another good rusty contender for this week. Alright, but that does it, everybody. Sound off down in the comment section below which ones you're hoping to make it in and why. Any other kind of feedback you have, go ahead and send that to me, and I'll get it to whoever it needs to if it's not for me. And as always, stay rusty, and thanks for watching.